To me, there were 1,000 thoughts flying in and out my head. And then a thought came to me, it's the 23rd. I'm playing golf at Crail on the 23rd, I'll not be at church. And then I thought, hang on a minute, that's no worship, going to play golf instead of coming and being part of what's happening today, so you've got me. Somebody else has taken my place in the golf competition. So, I love all kinds of worship. I love jumping up and down and shouting, especially like the Elim conference when you're with 2,000 people and you're all praising God together, it's fantastic. I love having soaking times where you're just lying on the floor and letting the worship and the music just roll over you and draw you closer to God. And I love everything else in between. Many of you will know I was part of the worship band for quite a lot of years, but as you get older your voice gets lower and you can't reach the notes, so I do the words now instead. But I see doing the words as part of my worship to God. Rose would say, I've got a song for every occasion. But having a song for every occasion is not necessarily worship, but it can turn any situation into worship. When the words of a song spring to your mind, it can turn your focus from what's happening around you onto Jesus or onto God's word. And that brings a normal, secular situation into a worship situation. You can worship God anywhere. You don't have to be in the church. You don't have to be at home. I like to listen to worship music in the car. If you do that, don't shut your eyes. Keep focused on what you're doing. But the very first time that I ever sang in tongues was when I was driving in the car. I was driving to Peebles to visit my mum and dad in their caravan, and I had never sung in tongues before, but the worship tape that I had on, because it was that long ago, it was a tape, came on, and it had an instrumental bit, and I just started singing in tongues, and I couldn't believe it, but I couldn't stop. You know, so you can praise and worship God anywhere. We used to have an assistant pastor in this church many years ago who often said, Christians don't tell lies, they sing them. So I think we have to be very careful when we are worshipping, if the words up there are really what we feel in here. We could be looking up there and saying, I surrender all. No, I'm no surrender man, keep that to myself. Or, I give you my heart. No, but my heart's somewhere else. So I think it's very important that when we do worship, we are worshipping what we really believe and what is right for us. And that's different for everybody. But worship, in my opinion, is not just music and song, it's a lifestyle. We worship God in everything we do when we do it for the glory of God. I like to make things with my hands, craft things. I like baking, making marmalade, sewing, making jewellery, whatever. I love to do these things. And I do them to the best of my ability because God has given me that ability. God has given it to me so that I can bless others. Whether it's giving gifts to people, or whether it's selling things to raise money, which is usually from Elim Missions, God uses the ability that He's given me. So when I'm stirring the marmalade, Sandy, I'm praying over that marmalade when I'm stirring it, for all the people who are going to buy it, so that the missions can have money. That is part of worship. 1 Corinthians 10:31 tells us, so whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. In Romans chapter 12, verse 1 and 2, it says, "Therefore, I urge you, brothers, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your act of spiritual worship. Do not be conformed any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." What better way can we do this than through worship? I have an acrostic for worship. Can we have it up, please? So, when ordinary, routine stuff has intentional purpose. Can you say that again? When ordinary, routine stuff has intentional purpose. So what do I mean by this? That if I do anything, not just out of necessity or out of a sense of duty, but with focus on God and serving Him, I'm being intent on doing it for God and therefore worshipping Him. For example, you might be here this morning because it's Sunday, because I always come here on a Sunday morning, because somebody else dragged me along. But if you are here this morning because you want to engage with God, you want to learn from Him, you want to expand